Hey everyone, welcome back to the speedrunning tutorial for God's Trigger, and welcome to this section in which I'll explain sort of the mechanics of actually going out of bounds, what it does, what it means, and how you can sort of manage your way through that and actually understand what's going on. So I just loaded up this level. It has a very simple out of bounds part, so that makes it easier for me to explain. We're just gonna go ahead and just kill this guy, get through there. Ooh, I'm such a good speedrunner. Now, this is the part where you can actually go out of bounds. Mind you, this is not a tutorial on this level. This is purely just used for demonstration on showing you the mechanics of going out of bounds. So basically you can see that everything here has just a boundary. You can't really just walk out of the level. But there is a part here in which we sort of have this nice triangular sort of section in which we can actually, if we angle it correctly, we can teleport through. Now this is clearly not intended, and you can see I also can't really walk back into it. And you'll notice that we'll abuse a lot of those little intersections that allow us to sort of get stuck to a point where the game's like, alright, I'll just put you on the other side. Now, what you find out of bounds that some of the stuff here has collision. As you can see here, this has collision. And some of it doesn't, where you just simply walk through it. Now, for this level, you normally would just like sort of teleport your way through it. But yeah, you can see that this is pretty much this terrain, and this doesn't have any collision. And if I'm not careful, I can actually accidentally end up back into bounds, which would be a big problem. Now, thanks to this, we can sort of just like walk here and walk all the way to the end. So this is the end level trigger. Now normally this map ends in a cutscene and that's it, but every map does have an end level trigger hidden somewhere. So that's what we can find that one if we can go out of bounds, and then we can sort of step on it. So stepping on this would end the level, effectively making this a very quick level, which I think my records with the normal in-game timer is about 18 seconds. Now, another good thing to know here is that you have out of bounds, which we're right here, but you can also fall down if you go far enough out of bounds. Now, normally you can pretty much tell this by looking at the texture on the floor, on the ground. So I would sort of expect to be falling right here because I'm off the map. But apparently they've made this collision a little bit larger, so if I continue walking up, you'll start to see me getting smaller, which is right about here. Now when I go back, I will actually end up beneath the map. Now this is sometimes actually necessary in order to get somewhere, because there's actually a way. First of all, I can still throw my chain, and the interesting thing about that is, I gotta watch out that I don't trigger a cutscene here. I'm just gonna go back a little bit. The interesting thing about that is I can actually still kill people. So there's still collision there, as you can see. Which is very useful if you have to clear something, and it's sort of like a safe strat. Aside from the time that you lose trying to get beneath this map. What's also interesting is that, as you can see when I teleport, the actual teleport animation happens on the map itself. What it does is the game basically puts you back on that altitude for just a split second. That does, however, allow you to interact with objects. This way, you can actually hit triggers, which would normally you would normally only be able to do it when you're on the same height. You can also see it's sort of stuck here, but I can pick up this shotgun now if I want to. There, now I've picked it up. By quickly teleporting on it, which is like a well-timed and like sort of like a well-measured teleport, and then hitting in my case, the square button, or on the Xbox controller it's the X button. Now, for weapons this is not really useful, but like I said, sometimes you need to be able to hit a trigger in order to open up an elevator, and then you can also sort of teleport into the elevator, triggering the end level switch. Now, another really important thing here is that because when we teleport onto someone, we actually stun that character. So I'm gonna go ahead and clear this guy, just to make it a bit more quiet. I can teleport onto this guy and knock him over. I can also do a stealth kill, which is something I don't want to do. I want to knock him over. It's gotta, there you go. Now he's knocked over, and now you can teleport onto him again and do the execution where they sort of like they stomp their heads, I believe. But that actually resets your height, which allows you to go back into bounds. Now this is going to be very useful, not in this map in particular, but you'll see it in some of the other map tutorials that I'll be showing off, where you'll be going back into bounds. And this allows us to skip a whole bunch of stuff. Now there's another thing that's really important to know about altitude in this game. First, I want to show it off by executing this out of bounds skip. Unfortunately, this skip is very unreliable, and I'll probably have to cut in the video to where I actually get it, but it does skip the entire level, so it's kind of cool to show off. But I'll see you in a little bit once I've actually nailed the skip. Come on. Gotta switch the controller. There we go. Okay, so that is the... I may I may have actually found a way to make it consistent while doing this tutorial, but I just want you to know that I've been trying this for about 40 minutes now, trying to record this. I'm gonna try and see if I can make it consistent. Anyway, so like I was saying, this altitude thing is sort of interesting, and it's currently not being used in the runs that are currently being done. I mean, there are some skips that you can do. They're just not viable. They're not quicker. It takes too much time. This being one of them, although maybe after, you know, sort of getting a feel for it now, I might be able to make this consistent. Either way, it's good to know that, you know, sort of how the collision works in this game, right? You see some of these rock formations. It's good to know that they're basically sort of like pillars coming out of the ground, and that they're slightly slanted, if that's the right word. You can sort of run up them, which is actually that is being used in one skip somewhere in one of the levels in the beginning. But it's also very interesting that basically as long as you keep collision, you will not lose height. And this is pretty interesting stuff. As you can see, it's a bit tricky to walk up to this pillar. You'll see me go around it, but you can see that I gain height a little bit each time until I get to the top. So the cool thing is that I can actually use the walls to make sure that I keep, I keep my height. As you can see, as long as I hug the wall, I will have this height without there being anything beneath me. That means I can go over this wall here as well, and I can actually use this pillar to regain a little of my altitudes. And so I can sort of follow the walls, and if I lose a little bit of height, that's okay, because I know for this level I don't need a whole lot, because all I need to get up is this statue, and then from here on out I'm out of bounds and I can just run to the end of the level. So this is also something very interesting that could be useful in trying to figure out new skips for the game. So you can see, you can skip the whole maze level here, we can skip all this, we can skip all of this, until we get to this part where there's a trigger over here, and then we can sort of casually kill them like this, and like this. Oops, oops, I'm gonna keep one of them alive. And we'll use that one to get back into bounds. And oh my god, I can't get back in. This is why this part is actually better done with mouse and keyboard, because it's easier to get the execution. So if we do it with mouse and keyboard, get him down. Or, oh, actually, it may not be much of a difference. Oh my god. There you go. Maybe I should be holding R instead. So you're back into bounds, so you can finish the map like so. So yeah, that's sort of interesting to know about, you know, the altitude bit. There's a bunch of things you can actually use to run up and gain heights, and you just need to get a little bit stuck, and then you can just start running up things. So yeah, I hope that was useful. I hope you learned something about going out of bounds and some of, you know, the glitches in this game. Feel free to, you know, try and find new ones and apply them in your runs. Thank you for watching. Please go ahead and view the rest of the playlist, showing tutorials for some of the other levels that are here. And come around on Discord. You can find a link if you go to speedrun.com, and if you go to the God's Trigger game, in the sidebar there will be a link for Discord. We'd love to see you there, and yeah, come chat with us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.